What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Wow, I thoroughly enjoyed my night of boxing. Covered all the fights, so if you haven't seen the videos, then check on the channel for really all the main event, co-main events, things like that. I want to talk about Vasyl Lomachenko versus Rocky Martinez. It was a championship title fight. Vasyl Lomachenko was moving up to 130, and on my post fights, I give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, the good is, first of all, let me start off by saying this, and this is no hate, this is really what it is. I told people, a lot of people ask me, since I hate when they have HBO mega cards and then Showtime at the same time, because fans are forced to pick one. So someone asked me which one I'll be watching first or live, and I told them the Showtime card for two reasons. The main event, I didn't know who was going to win between John Molina Jr. and Ruslan Provodnikov. I thought that was a evenly matched fight. Both fighters lack defense but have a lot of power. Plus, they had a better card. So that's how I made my decision to watch the Showtime card. They had three fights. It was a triple header. And the co-main event I was really looking forward to. Willie Nelson, Demetrius Andrade, another good fight. Plus the Molina Ruslan Provodnikov. So that's how I made my decision. And on top of that, I knew Vasyl Lomachenko would not lose to Rocky Martinez. Another reason for this is I've never really personally rated Rocky Martinez so highly. I respect the fact that he was a champion, but if you look at the Mayweather-Berto undercard where he fought Orlando Salido in a rematch, I thought Orlando Salido got robbed and clearly should have beaten Rocky Martinez. And this is not the first time that I've seen this with Rocky Martinez. When Rocky Martinez fought the other, he's a Mexican fighter who's tall, and Mikey Garcia fought him, and it was his last fight. I forgot the guy's name, Juan Carlos or something. And Mikey Garcia also fought that guy, and it was his last fight before his lawsuit with Top Rank, and then he stopped fighting for like 2 years. So whoever, I forgot his name off the top of my head, but when Rocky Martinez fought that guy, I had him losing that fight too. So to me, Rocky Martinez, he probably shouldn't have been, he's been gifted some decisions. That's just the best way to put it. Then he stepped up with Mikey Garcia and he got destroyed in that fight too. So that's just my personal opinion, but I do respect that he was a champion. And let's talk about the good. The good is, even though I just said my standpoint, that's just my personal opinion and I supported why, he was still the champion. And he was still, Vasyl Lomachenko was moving up from 126 to 130. And the way he disposed of Rocky Martinez, he made him look like an absolute rookie and dismantled him and maybe even forced him into retire and created a knockout of the year candidate. So I give Vasyl Lomachenko a whole hell of a lot of credit for doing that, because despite me feeling Salido beat Rocky Martinez, neither that's here nor there, because he still had the belt and he was still a champion and it was still his division at 130. Vasyl Lomachenko jumped up and did all of that, and he just, it was not really much of a fight breakdown. He just destroyed, toyed with. What he did good for Vasyl Lomachenko, his straight punches, very reminiscent to like a Floyd Mayweather when he was fighting, like, let's say Robert Guerrero, just that surgical straight punch that rocks the person's head back all crazy. Rigondeaux has very straight punches like that, so it shows you the level of accuracy from Lomachenko. And I just see a lot, I'm not giving credit to these other fighters, even though I know for a fact Lomachenko has studied a lot of fighters. He's definitely a student of the game. I could tell by how he fights, period. You know what I mean? So I'm not giving credit to these other fighters. I know for a fact, though, the Ukraine boxing school is one of the best. I think if we're not talking about the States, you look at Mexico, Cuba, and then also look at Ukraine. Those are probably some of the best boxing schools in around the world or whatever. A lot of good fighters from the Ukraine, the Klitschko's and Viktor Postol, and obviously Lomachenko. But I see shades, and I've said this for a while, I see shades of a lot of people. Willie Pep. I even see shades of, I told you, Mayweather with like a lot of his straight punches. And I see shades of Roy Jones Jr. in this fight. I think it was round 2. He constantly turns his opponent, right? And he turned Rocky Martinez, and he threw 3 right hands, which is, Roy Jones did that same thing. I remember he hit somebody with 3 right hands. I was like, whoa. Like, you, to put, basically what I'm trying to say with that 3 hooks in a row, you have to have hand speed, because nobody's going to just sit there and let you hit him 3 times with one hand. And it shows your level of athleticism, and that's what it clearly, Roy Jones in his prime and then Vasyl Lomachenko, they have that in common. They have hand speed and they're both athletic, because there's no way you can pull that off if you don't have hand speed, because again, no one's going to just sit there unless they're a rookie, and this was a champion we were talking about, and he literally threw 3 right hands, just bout, like real quick. So I was very impressed with that. I even see shades of Pacquiao in his footwork. It's just real irregular. The movement is just like real jumpy, like ha ha ha. Like it's hard to time, you know what I mean? Because he's like, Pacquiao has that jackrabbit type of weird cadence with his feet. Lomachenko has that same, so it's real hard to get in rhythm. He's a beast. I mean, he's a hard fight for anybody. And then it looked like, I've always said this, him at featherweight, he's clearly in shape, a gym rat and stuff like that, so he could make 126, but he always looked big to me for 126. So I think 130, the move up, I think he moved up for a reason, and I think it was probably because it was harder to cut the last 4 pounds to get back to the 126, and there were still opportunities at 130 like Salido, Nicholas Walters and stuff like that. So I think his team made an executive decision to move up, and it seems like the right decision, because it looks like people don't understand cutting that extra 4, 5, 6 pounds, things like that makes a difference. Even cutting a pound, if you've already depleted your body, it can be a lot. You know what I mean? So sometimes people's power doesn't look the same, and it looked like his power carried up, and that might be a sign of him struggling to make weight maybe at the tail end, because when he fought better opposition, he wasn't necessarily getting knockouts. He doesn't have many fights to choose from, so it's kind of hard to say. He has under 10 fights at this moment as a pro, but it looks like it benefited him to move up, because his body is probably more comfortable. He could probably eat a little bit better, and maybe not as lethargic and as drained or whatever on the scales. So the 130 move seemed good for him because he looked strong there. He just kept rocking Martinez's head back. Very one-sided, lopsided fight. The bad and the ugly is all on Rocky Martinez. He just looked like a rookie. He didn't look like a champion. He didn't look like a guy with, if you look at it, Martinez has been in there with way more notable names. They both had the Salido fight, but Rocky Martinez fought Salido twice, unlike Vasyl Lomachenko. Rocky Martinez, even though he lost, he was been in there with Mikey Garcia and some other notable names, and it just didn't show. It didn't look like it. Vasyl Lomachenko was dogging him and toying with him. He was turning him. He was blasting him with shots. The knockout was brutal. Then he did a backflip. It's just, I don't know. It's just, he just toyed with him, and he made him look like an amateur. And one thing, the bad and the ugly, is just Rocky Martinez. I don't like when fighters make certain excuses in between maybe round 2 and 3 or something like that. They said, oh, you got to do something. You gotta get more aggressive, or whatever they were saying. And Rocky Martinez is, oh, he keeps moving like a bitch. I don't want to hear that, because he didn't knock you out like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like when fighters say that. That rubs me the wrong way. Pause. When fighters say, oh, he was running, or what is he supposed to just sit still and allow you to pulverize him? He's supposed to be a moving target. If he's in shape, he has the legs to do it. He has the upper body movement, the skill and the reflexes, fast twitch muscles. He's in the conditioning. He has the brain for it. He's supposed to do that. He's not supposed to just be a stationary target and let you do whatever the hell you want, like fisticuff. Just because Orlando Salido and Rocky Martinez, maybe those fights were more competitive because of their style, and Salido's there to be hit, and he's just going to come forward, and he's tough. Not everyone's going to fight like that. So I hate when fighters have these cop-outs about, oh, he ran like a bitch, and he was moving, he's a chicken. It had nothing to do with chicken. Like I said, when he blasted you in the 5th round and knocked you out, he didn't look like a bitch right there. Martinez was making rookie mistakes. He was getting hurt in the 5th round, and then he's like backing straight up, and he got caught in transition with it looked like a leaping maybe right hook. I'd have to watch it again, but he got caught in transition and just blasted, sweat flying everywhere. Sensational performance by Vasyl Lomachenko. He called out Orlando Salido. He says it's personal. He wants a rematch. I think that's a great next fight based on Salido. A lot of people thought Salido beat Francisco Vargas, but either way, he didn't lose any stock. It's not like Vargas, who was a WBC champion, still is the WBC champion. It's not like he went in there and just destroyed him. It was a very competitive fight, and a lot of people in Salido, don't quote me on this, but I think his last 2 fights were Rocky Martinez 2 and then also Francisco Vargas. And Salido, I told you at the beginning of this video, I thought Salido won versus Rocky Martinez and should have gotten the belt from him at that point. And then a lot of people had Salido winning versus Francisco Vargas. So definitely there's money in that fight, and it still makes sense because Salido held a good account of himself, and he has a style. He's tough, he's aggressive, he has power, and he has a win over Vasyl Lomachenko. So it'll be interesting. But the problem for him is, and I said it on Dante's Boxing Nation on the radio show last week, you guys can go back and listen to it. The problem for Salido is the fact that he already has the win. And I think if I met Vasyl Lomachenko's trainer and Aegis and everybody, and he was telling us little stories about how, like, Vasyl Lomachenko's basically like an acrobat. They said he could do like 150 push-ups. You've seen him do a backflip after he knocked out Rocky Martinez, things like that. But from everything I heard about him, he sounds very highly competitive. You see he's in shape. He never looks sloppy at the weigh-ins, and he's always like cut in shape, ready to go. He looks sharp in this fight. Good combinations. He did not fight like a fighter moving up in weight, like, oh, let me test the waters and see what his punching. He just came straight at him, and that's dangerous because that shows the level of comfortability that he has. He's comfortable fighting. He's been doing this his whole life, almost 400 amateur fights. He's a problem. But what I'm trying to say is everything that I've heard about him from people in his circle, he seems competitive, and that's dangerous for Orlando Salido because I think he really wants revenge, and he learned from the first fight. He learned, that was only his second fight if I'm not mistaken, and I think he learned from that. He learned that, okay, this guy's gonna come in with his head all rough and tumble, and he doesn't care if he elbows me, if he pushes my head down, cuts me, and he wasn't acclimated to that then, but now he knows what to deal with. He just fought and beat a champion in Rocky Martinez. He beat Gary Russell. So some things have changed since Salido, that second pro fight. Maybe he jumped in too early, wasn't fully acclimated to the pro game, to the different styles. Like, you know what I mean? There's guys like Maidana and Orlando Salido, Victor Archinia. Those guys are rough. They don't care. They have power. They're coming to hit you. They're coming to hunt you down. They're tough. And it is what it is. So he might not have been ready, which is why he lost, even though it looked like he was going to stop Salido in the 12th round. So he was definitely game. But now you're dealing with a more problematic Lomachenko because he's learned a lot. He's had a bunch of fights on like Pacquiao undercards and Mayweather Pacquiao undercards, things like that. So he's learned on the job, and now he's probably up to speed. So I would clearly favor I don't think it's a pushover, easy work fight necessarily, but I would clearly favor Lomachenko in the rematch because I think he has some of the experience that he needed when he fought him in his second pro fight. Now he has that, and he has confidence, and he moved up. So he just looks so sharp. The footwork, the moving, the angles. It's just going to be a hard look. But there's other good fights. Even Orlando Salido. He's just Orlando Salido. He shows he's kind of one-dimensional. He's tough as hell, tough as nails, but he's more one-dimensional. I think Lomachenko just has too many tools. Other great fights for him. Gary Russell Jr. said he'll follow him to whatever weight division. I would really like to see that. Or Nicholas Walters, who's actually at the division of 130. All great fights. Lomachenko's a beast. He looked good. Drop in the comment section. Let me know what you thought. Classic knockout, one of the best of this year. Amir Khan getting knocked out by Canelo, and then this one. Well, the Canelo one was maybe a little bit more brutal because Khan was sleep. Rocky Martinez was clearly out too. They're both nasty. You don't want to be either one of those people in those fights. Props to Loma. We'll see what's next. Drop in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.